ever been driving through an older established neighborhood in Florida? Maybe Port St. Lucie, Vero Beach, Palm Bay, or maybe you're on the other coast. Maybe you're in the Tampa area, like Royal Highlands or Spring Hill, and you're driving through sections that aren't in a subdivision, but obviously there's just houses everywhere, and you can go street to street to street, and both sides are completely lined, and then you'll see these empty lots. And you wonder, and some of them are sitting there for years, 20 years, just these empty lots just sitting there. And you're wondering, what's the deal with these and where did they come from? And the answer is they're called scattered lots. And that's the topic for today. My name's David Fender with Neighborhood Tours TV. I'm a realtor, broker in Stuart, Florida, with my own little brokerage, Fender Real Estate. And I just wanted to share a topic today that is pretty close to my heart. I do a lot of raw land, a lot of vacant land deals, especially in the scattered lot section, all throughout Florida, working with a national home builder and other small private investors. And so it's just a topic that's close to my heart. So scattered lots. So back in the 50s and 60s, it was really Florida, from what I understand, that just had the big boom of it. But investors and developers were coming in all over Florida and buying up these really large tracts of land. And there just wasn't a lot of regulation behind what they couldn't do with them. And so they were taking huge parcels and chopping them up into little quarter-acre lots. And then obviously just selling them off. And then other investors bought them and people just started kind of acquiring them because, let's face it, back in the 70s, even up through, like the 90s and the 2000s, for a really, really long time, even in communities like Port St. Lucie, you could go buy a lot for nothing. A few $1,000, a couple $1,000. It was cheap. Back then homes were trading for 100,000 to 150,000. I remember selling 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, concrete block pool homes in Port St. Lucie for 125,000. So obviously that is not the case today, but yeah, scattered lots have been there for a long time now. So in the 50s and 60s, it was happening. And then the 70s, I think, regulation started kicking in and they started saying, listen, we can't just keep doing this. We're just having tens and tens of thousands of acres getting chopped into quarter-acre parcels with no subdivisions, no real rules. Now the county kind of has to come in and enforce instead of like a homeowners association, because, that's where they started really going into the 70s and 80s, was slowing it down, saying, okay, no, like you can't just keep doing this. There's got to be some structure to this or else it's just going to be kind of crazy. And so we started going into more of the traditional subdivisions that are governed by an HOA, which, in the end, it keeps the values up. When you've got an HOA in place, and trust me, some people absolutely hate them. A lot of people absolutely love them. They serve a purpose, though. The purpose behind the HOA is that it's a governing body for the community that tries to keep all of the properties, all of the homes in that community to a certain standard, a certain level. Now, don't get me wrong. You've got communities where it's all $1 million homes. You've got communities where it's $200,000 and $300,000 homes. But the idea is to keep all of the homes, the yards, everything at a certain level so that the property values across the board in that community stay the same and there's consistency, just in regards to everything. Again, value, but then cleanliness. People are coming through and you don't have one house that's like falling apart or the yard's overgrown and then the next house is meticulous. So obviously that's a whole nother discussion, but that is one of obviously the big perks of why people would want to be in an HOA community. But getting back to scattered lots, I'm getting way off subject here. So why are we talking about this today? we're talking about scattered lots because throughout, all over Florida right now, there's still the opportunity to be able to purchase land, smaller parcels at semi-affordable prices, depending on where you're looking, and utilizing these scattered lots. Number one, if you want to build a new home and have your first home, or number two, as an investment. People don't realize that a lot of the lots throughout Florida, based on the area, are still a reasonable area. I mean, you could pick up a scattered lot, let's say Citrus Springs, for $25,000. And if you're a successful individual or whatever you are, but if you're looking to invest, you could start picking those scattered lots up. And the property taxes at the end of the year on a $25,000 lot are minimal. I mean, we're talking, hundreds of dollars for the whole year, and then the other thing to think about with scattered lots is, we're not making any more. There's no more land, right? So that's where the investment side really kicks in, is that as you acquire vacant land and hold on to it these days, with the rapid rate in Florida of development all over the place, these quarter acre, 1/3 acre, half acre lots are going to, just become more and more valuable. So as an investment, it's a great idea to consider picking up some scattered lots and holding on to them, maybe as you're trying to build like generational wealth or whatnot. But as land gets less and less, it's like anything, supply and demand, the value keeps going up. And throughout Florida and all the different areas that I work in, and I work in quite a few, and I'll just go ahead and give you a breakdown as to what we're looking at right now. So Port St. Lucie at the moment, you used to be able to pick up a lot in Port St. Lucie, a scattered quarter acre lot in a obviously non-HOA, not a subdivision, just a scattered lot for a couple $1,000. Nowadays, I would say the average is between $130 and $140. Somewhere in that range is going to be your current average to pick up a quarter acre scattered lot in Port St. Lucie. Vero Beach, we're seeing any ranges depending on the community. Again, non-HOA community, scattered lot, but probably 45. Palm Bay, maybe just a tiny bit more. We've got, again, Citrus Spring up there, 25 to 30, maybe 35, but somewhere in that range, a little bit lower. Sebring, you've got some lower sections, which is nice. So I think Sebring's a pretty good opportunity as well, along with Okeechobee. Getting over onto the other coast, you've got communities such as Spring Hill, where they're trading hands in the low 60s, 60, 65 seems to be about the standard. And then you've got a really beautiful community just to the north of Spring Hill called Royal Highlands, which has become highly popular and a very hot little market. And you could pick those up, I guess pretty similar in the 50s. If it depends on how far you go. If you're going north of Centralia, they get a little bit less expensive. You get closer to the Hexham Road area. If you know the area and you know Hexham, they get a little bit pricier towards there. They might be in the mid 50s to 60s, but we were picking them up back in the day in the 30s or 40s. But I mean, like I said, as these lots run out, these scattered lot communities slowly start dwindling in inventory. Prices continue to go up. Port St. Lucie, you're going, oh my God, you've got all these other places where you could pick them up between, 30 grand and 60 grand. And then you're looking at Port St. Lucie and you're going, holy cow, quarter acre lot for 140,000 or 135,000, but they're going quick. A lot of your major builders have gotten in there. They're picking them up fast. The prices keep pushing. We're not seeing any more downturns. Interest rates are good. People are building. And then you've also got the commutability to like Palm Beach. If you want to be able to, afford to buy a lot and build a home and be able to do it, maybe say under 450, 400 to 450 and have a nice little affordable home, it's not going to cost you a fortune. Port St. Lucie is still a very appealing area, even with the lot values seeming to creep up. But at the moment, they've kind of leveled off. But anyways, I just kind of want to talk to, I want to talk to you today about the scattered lots. It's an exciting thing. There's communities all over Florida that have them. Again, the prices range. And if you're just looking to be in a non-HOA community, maybe build your first home, that's a great opportunity. If you're looking to start putting together your own real estate portfolio and you're going, you know what, Dave, I can't afford to just go out and buy $400,000, $500,000 houses, or maybe even a $250,000 or $300,000 house based on where you're based on where you live and based on values. I mean, listen, it's a lot of money, and I get it. $300,000, $400,000 is a lot of money if you're trying to just pick up an investment, and then you've got the mortgage, you got to put renters in it and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it can be kind of a daunting thing if you're not comfortable with it, but scattered lots is something you could pick up at an affordable rate, a very reasonable price, and have very low overhead as well. Maybe you got to keep it trimmed a little bit. You don't want the county or city getting on you if it gets all overgrown and crazy. But for the most part, depending on where you buy, you're going to have really, really low property taxes. And so even if you bought 5 or 10 of them, it's not going to kill you at the end of the year, when you're paying your property taxes, because it's just so low on this raw land with these scattered lots. So something to think about, something that I work with all the time. They are moving fast. Your builders love them, and they are picking them up quick. They are a hot commodity right now. That is not a sales pitch. They are extremely hot. A lot of your national home builders have what they call scattered lot divisions, and that's what they do. A lot of your home builders, it's not all about just going out and buying a big tract of land and putting up a new subdivision, because with scattered lots, they can buy the lot, send the guy out, clear it real quick, start pulling permits and start building and getting it done fast. It's already got a parcel ID, it's already got legal descriptions, it's ready to roll. And the utilities are already right there, especially for most of them. Your city water, your city sewer, everything's sitting out there. Now, depending on where you buy, you might have to go well and septic if you want to go a little bit more rural, which a lot of people do. I kind of love, I sort of love a country setting, and I'm not opposed to it. But, for builders and investors, scattered lots is a really nice option. They can buy them, clear them, build, and start making money pretty fast. So again, as an investor, it's not a bad idea in some of the areas that are really hot right now, where the inventories are dwindling, start picking a few up, setting them aside. And, maybe you've got money in your investment portfolios. Maybe you got some ETFs, you got some stocks, mutual funds, you got a 401k, whatever you got there. But picking up some scattered lots, holding on to them for a few years as they're appreciating at 10, 15, 20% could just be another smart investment, to kind of cover you, to spread out your investment portfolio. And it also gives you the option down the road to, if you're like, hey, you know what? Maybe I want to build a rental property or build an investment. Maybe you pick up some scattered lots that would allow you to do a duplex or something like that. You could start building your own rental portfolio if you're a builder and you want to kind of handle it that way, because you don't want to go out and start doing, overpaying for something that's new, or maybe you don't want to, do a fix and flip, because now you got to buy it. You got to spend all this money renovating it and fixing it up. And then you can only put it up for sale at market value. And sometimes a lot of these, rentals are barely pulling in enough to just, cover the mortgage or just the cost. And so they're just praying for that appreciation down the road. So if you've got the capabilities to pick up the lot for cheap, build it yourself, maybe do some work yourself, keep the overhead down, have a brand new product, could be a better way to do it. So, all right. Again, my name's David Fender here, Stuart, Florida, and scattered lots, something to think about. Great investment. We're going to talk about this more, and we're going to talk about raw land more. We've got a bunch more videos coming up on this, so just be ready. I'll talk to you soon.